What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy PorterRock77, and I am back after a week break with your 60 frames no lag podcast, where we go 60 frames no lag, meaning no bullshit on this podcast. I got some special guests here today. I don't have the normal panel members. You know, everybody's doing big things, crazy things out there. You know, life takes over, opportunities be knocking. You know, and I can't hate on that. So I wish them all well. But they will be back next week. But I got two special guests today. Because, of course, I can't disappoint you subscribers. So I'm going to kick off, introduce my guests, my first guest. I got my boy, top flight security of the world, Craig. What's going on, Craig? How you doing?
Hey, what's going on out there, Porter Rock? Everybody out there, thanks for inviting me. And remember, roses are red, violets are blue. My headboard is broken. What's a bro to do? But thanks for the invite, my bro.
Oh, shit. He's trying to give the people what happened yesterday on Valentine's Day. You know what I'm saying? He went half on a baby with R. Kelly and shit. All right. You know what I'm saying? Just give that man a round of applause. You know what I'm saying? All right. My next guest really doesn't need no introduction, but you have to know my man has always been bringing the motherfucking facts since day one, whether it's Xbox, PlayStation, Sega, Nintendo, name whatever platform. He brings the motherfucking facts. My man. Iron Wolf, what's going on, brother?
Yo, what's happening, PlayStation Nation? What's up, Porter Rock? It's Iron Wolf, always here to bring the motherfucking facts. And I'd just like to thank you personally for inviting me to the 60 Frames No Lag podcast. And yo, man, we're going to, show them how it's done, as always.
Awesome. Hey, I want to thank you both for hitting up my podcast, for showing up and stuff like that. But we're going to get to it because this is what the subscribers are waiting for. So I laid out the topics. We're going to talk about the first one, Nioh, still sold out globally, right? Did Sony underestimate Nioh's success? Start this off, Iron Wolf. Let's see what you got.
Well, first of all, I just went now and I just come to find out that it's sold out in Australia, completely sold out. You cannot find a physical copy. So, and not only that, it charted at #1 in Australia. So it is the #1 game in Australia. It may have been #2 in the UK, but it's still the #1 game in Australia. And it was still the #1 game, the #1 PlayStation 4 game UK. So at the end of the day, I have confidence in this game, and I think it's probably going to reach and I do think Sony underestimated this game, and I don't know if they realize, but when it comes down to the Souls crowd, Dark Souls crowd, at the end of the day, man, that kind of game has a cult following, and when you find out you have another game like that with bad gameplay, they're all going to be on board, man. You got PC guys begging for this game. They have a petition that's already got 12,000 signatures. But that ain't gonna be no use because Sony are publishing it. They've picked this game up and they're calling the shots, man. That's just the way it is. But yo, I applaud Team Ninja. I applaud Koei Tecmo. Although they technically didn't publish the game, but they still at the end of the day had a part to play in it. And this is a game that it took them 10 years to actually have done because it kind of started off as a Dynasty Warriors type of game. Game before they merged with Tecmo. So then when they became Koei Tecmo, I guess Tecmo, they handed this game over to Team fully. The game is a masterpiece and it got all the reviews that it deserved, That's all I want to say about that for now, man.
So this game started out with Koei, right?
Yeah, it started off with Koei, yeah.
Like a Dynasty Warriors type game, and they just scratched it
from
the drawing board and they handed it off to Team Ninja.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Craig, what you think about this? Did Sony? I mean, granted, Sony did publish it, so they called that shit right. They saw something, but do you think they were still a little bit hesitant in how the reception of this game was going to be?
Yeah, I think this game has truly caught them by surprise. Because I don't like Wolf was just saying. I mean, sold out in Australia. It's hard to find in the States. You can download it digitally. Let's just keep it 100. You really want it, you can go and get it at the digital store. But if you're old school like me and you want that physical copy, it's difficult to find. But from what I've seen of it, because I couldn't get my hands on it, it looks really good. Again, the scores are extremely high. The people that have been streaming it, everybody that's seen it really likes the game. So I do think, and me and P Rock were talking about this before the podcast, it's sort of like the game Until Dawn. That game caught Sony off guard too back in 2014. So yeah, I do believe this has caught Sony kind of, with their pants down, so to speak, in a good way, but it's in a good way.
Yeah, you know what? Like, I think Sony fucked up, man. They should have had more physical copies there. So, like, Sony, man. Like, yo, Sony, fuck you, man. I'm sorry, I don't mean to curse. I do apologize, but nah, for real though, man. They completely messed up, man. They should have been well prepared for it, man. They should have been prepared.
So it's crazy. I mean, I've been checking this out. Yo, I'll be honest. I didn't think, Nioh was going to get the reception. I didn't think it was going to be this much of a hard to find game. I was like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I thought it was going to be a decent selling title, slow trickle sales over time. But I didn't think it would be a big push where people were going to store. No stores really expected this. Like, people just keep going to the stores. It's even sold out where I'm at around here, and I have friends saying, oh, how did you get a copy? I'm like, I ordered it, because I knew I was going to like the game.
Yo, Porter Rock, all I'm going to say to you right now, that this is a AAA game. It's a high quality game. And not only that, the fact that it's a new IP and it's already successful and sold out everywhere, in fact, that's a beautiful thing, man. When I see a new IP like this, being sold out internationally, man, it's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah. It's amazing. You know what I really like about this game? Because, it's beyond just, a good gameplay, and just a fun, well-developed game. It's doing something. It's setting the example of what gamers want from every game, and that's being able to choose how you want to play. If you want to play at 60 frames and tone down the resolution to 720, then do so. If you're more of a 1080p, 30 frames type of dude, do so. If you want native 4K 30, do so. If you want 1080p 60, do so. You know what I'm saying? So this is definitely a bona fide AAA game, simply because they're doing something other AAA games haven't. You know what I'm saying? We don't get the choice. Even on both Xbox and PlayStation side, Uncharted, Gears, we don't get the choices how we want to play those games. They tell us this is how you're going to play it, and you're stuck with it. So Nioh is setting a trend. It's like saying you can do more for the gamers. Let them decide how they want to play it. And if Nioh and if Tecmo could do it, then you damn well know EA developers, Activision, and Sony's first-party studios, and Microsoft,
Ubisoft,
they all could do it. They all could do it. If Tecmo could do it, they all could do it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I like about this fantastic game. But of course, we have our haters that want to focus. Oh, you guys, like, this is one thing. I don't know why they even have the balls to compare Nioh with Quantum Break. First off, I didn't really care. I didn't really care yet. I'm gonna add my little flair to this. I'm gonna put a little excitement right now. When Quantum Break, when them Eurogamer shit happened, I didn't actually read I didn't actually read the Eurogamer article about Quantum Break till about a week ago, and that was only because everybody kept comparing it to Nioh. When it happened, I didn't really care. Like I said, I'm not a resolution baby where I will bash Xbox because 720p. I didn't really care. All right, but before I read that article, I honestly thought that Quantum Break was 720p 60 frames, and that's why they went with that. I'm to find out it's not. That shit is 720p 30. And now I'm thinking this is why they bashed the game. You know what I'm saying? It would be one thing like if you locked it at 60 frames because you're going for a gameplay experience over resolution. That made sense to me. I thought that's how it was. I thought Quantum Break was a 720p 60 frame. And I'm like, okay, whatever, I'm more of a, like right now I'm playing Nioh 720p 60 in action mode because I prefer the 60 frames. So that's why I'm not a big deal. But when I read on Eurogamer, that shit was 30. I'm like, yo, if they would have fucking ran this game at 60, it wouldn't even be high definition. That shit would be 540p. Wow. So hell yeah, that shit deserved to get thrashed. And I'm not saying blame it on Xbox. Whatever engine they use, That shit is terrible. If you had to run a game at 720p 30, oh hell no. Fucking that Remedy's bugging the fuck out. That shit's nowhere near the same as Nioh. Nioh's running 720p 60 and is rendering a bigger world.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Quantum Break is a very linear game, so you would expect that game to be packed full of beautiful graphics, high frame rates, high resolution. But you didn't get any of that. It was a very small linear game. It was a 7-hour game, in fact. I beat that game in 7 hours.
Yeah. Oh, that shit. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, very short, man. So you want to complain about the order? You should complain about Quantum Break. Because the majority of that shit was just cutscenes, and then you watch a little TV scene after each chapter. You watch a little episode, and then you go to the following chapter. You have another cutscene, and then you get a little bit, a little sprinkle of gameplay here and there. Then another cutscene. It was no different to the order. Difference is the order actually looked better than Quantum Break.
Wow, that shit blew my mind when I read the Euro again. Like I said, I read it a week ago. And it said, it's doing all this technical, it did this, and then it was checkerboarding, and the game runs out of solid 30 frames. I was like, I'm thinking, hold up, I think I got cataracts here. Let me read the show. So, I think I'm gonna have to need some medicinal marijuana or something. I'm like, let me read this shit again. At a locked 30 frames, 720p? Are these guys bugging? I was like, now I see why this game got thrashed. That shit is crazy. But I just have to throw that shit out there, man. That shit's crazy. But anyway,
no, I don't think before we close the subject, right? I don't think it was only thrashed because it was 720p. There was all these other elements to go along with it. Like I was saying, the game was way too short. It was a linear kind of fucking experience. So, they hyped this game up for like 4 years straight since the unveiling of the Xbox, and then we finally got it last year, and it was just underwhelming, man. It really was.
I'm gonna tell you. I'll be honest. This is just me talking with my friends on Xbox. Because like my friends own Xbox. And some, a lot of PlayStation guys. I have a lot of friends. These friends I just grew up. We mostly play sports games together. These guys are like casuals. This is the target audience that makes console sales, pretty much, right? So I would say the biggest thing I think that really impacted Quantum Break was no online multiplayer. You understand what I'm saying? Xbox Live is a gift and a curse. When you talk about Xbox and Xbox Live, everybody's like, "Oh, it's because of I love the online. I love the online. I love the online." That's why I choose Xbox, because they're online, which is cool. Nothing wrong with that. But when a game like Quantum Break comes out, it doesn't support your online preference. So a lot of Xbox gamers ain't gonna buy games that doesn't support the main reason why they like Xbox.
Yeah,
that's just how it is. And it was my friends. My friends asked me. They go to GameStop. They saw the posters and they recognize, the actor. He was on X-Men as Iceman. So they're like, yo, that game with the Iceman motherfucker? I'm like, yeah, Quantum Break. Yo, how's that game? I'm like, yo, it's from the dudes that made Max Payne. Yeah, they made Max Payne. They know that game. They're like, oh, cool. And then what was the next question they asked me? They asked me what multiplayer modes does it have? Co-op. Team deathmatch. Yeah, they're naming all these shit. And I'm like, bro, this doesn't have multiplayer at all. And they're like, fuck that. I ain't got time for that shit.
To be honest with you, man, I'm
like, yo, the game might be good. They're like, yo, I don't pay money to fucking play single player games. They're like, whatever. I ain't worried about that.
I hear you, man. But you know what?
I couldn't convince.
I hear you loud and clear, Paul Rock. Could you hear me, by the way?
Yeah, I could hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say multiplayer would have been good for Quantum Break. It would have been cool having that, but then at the same time, when has Remedy ever made a multiplayer game?
I agree. Yeah, I agree with you.
Like Max Payne never had a multiplayer. Alan Wake never had a multiplayer.
I completely agree with you, but I think Xbox One now more than ever, you have the primary audience want multiplayer games, something multiplayer.
So that's why you're saying because of that, the game didn't really sell like that.
I think it's not selling like that. I mean, look at all the look at the single player games in general. Recore, Sunset Overdrive kind of. Look at that Rising 4. That shit got bashed because it didn't have single player co-op, and you saw how bad it sold. I think Xbox One really.
But then again, I don't think multiplayer would have made. I don't think multiplayer would have made any sense in Quantum Break because, all the powers that you got in that game. and the shit that you could do. I just don't think it would make sense, man. I just think it'll be completely unbalanced, man.
Well, I think you're looking at it from a perspective of, because you play the game and you're looking at it from the gameplay perspective. I'm talking about just the hype and initial sales perspective. Before
you're talking about replay value, right? You're talking about replay value.
Replay just before the game even launched. People, because like I said, the game wasn't even out, and my friends already read it. They wrote it off simply because they didn't have multiplayer. So they didn't care about the reviews or how the game looked or so video. It was done for them. The game was already a loss before it even came out. I couldn't convince them to even look at a stream.
Well, it
was already done. You see what I'm saying? But there's a lot of gamers like that. Like if they find out, hey, oh shit, Horizon Zero Dawn is coming out. Oh yeah, it's a role RPG. Does it have multiplayer? No, I don't want it. What? Like, bro, check it. Nah. I don't want it. Fucking next game. What's the next game? And there's a lot of players like that. They don't even want to see a Metacritic review. Like, forget it.
See, this is the way I feel about the whole thing, man. I feel like Microsoft kind of rushed Remedy into making this game. Like, I think if they took a little longer, because Alan Wake took quite a while to make, right?
Yeah.
Because they announced it back in 2005, and I think it didn't drop until 2009 or 2010, if I'm not mistaken. But do correct me if I'm wrong. But then Quantum. No, I was gonna say Alan Wake took him a long time to make. Yeah, it took him a while.
It was like 4 years.
Yeah, and then Quantum Break, I believe they kind of rushed it a little bit, though, man. That's the thing. They kind of rushed it. If they let Remedy, take the time with the game, I think the game would have come out really good.
Yeah.
Just let them take their time. It's just Microsoft, man. Always like over somebody's shoulder, man. That's no different to what they did to Platinum Games. But hey, I don't want to get into any of that. Y'all know the story to that.
We're trying to reopen wounds. Go ahead,
like the kids in the back of the car asking you, "Are we there yet? Are we there yet?" Just give the people some time to make the games. I mean, that's because Quantum Break. I've played Quantum Break and I thought it was okay. I do agree it was a little bit short, but to walk away from it because you can't play online, that's unfortunate. That's
just gamers today. There's a lot of gamers like that. A lot of like that. That's just bananas how it is. All right, but we'll do our next topic. All right. So Nioh's RPG is getting great success. Does this add pressure to Horizon Zero Dawn? Will Horizon Zero Dawn surpass what Nioh's already started? Because it's already set the stage. And we're about to get what? Horizon Zero Dawn in about 2 weeks? The 28th?
Oh yeah, we got reviews coming next week as well, by the way. So you're gonna see the Metacritic for that next week. But Horizon Zero Dawn is a different kettle of fish, though, man. This is a big, high budget. It looks like $100 million game. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then you got the marketing behind it. The marketing machine behind this game is an absolute beast. And just look at this game. It's an open world game, and it still looks better than Quantum Break. It still looks better than Gears of War 4. All these linear games that Microsoft are giving. And this is an open world game. So let that sink in, ladies and gentlemen. Just let that shit sink in, because, as far as it being, being under pressure, I don't think this game, there's no pressure with this game. There's no pressure. I think the only pressure that you'll probably have will be Zelda, because it'll be dropping near enough the same time as Zelda Breath of the Wild. And that's a big game. And it's a similar kind of game. It's an open world RPG style game. Yeah, I don't consider Zelda an RPG, but it has a similar kind of concept. You understand?
That's true. I mean, it doesn't have like the leveling and shit like that, but it's kind of similar. Yeah, it's very, you could do a lot of stuff. That's going to be a big thing, because even though it's on the Switch, Zelda's a big game. Zelda survives on its gameplay.
Yeah, and that is one of the holy grails of gaming. It's similar to Horizon with the whole open world aspect, and and plus you got to think about it like this: they're going to be hyping up the hardware, they're going to be hyping up the Switch during that time, and that's going to be the trending topic all over social media. So I have a little bit of concern for Horizon, but at the same time, I do believe that the PlayStation Nation are going to go out in numbers and buy this or buy physical copies. It don't make a difference, man. This game is gonna be fire, and it's gonna sell, man.
I will say this game will definitely sell, because the marketing, and I think Sony's gonna push so much in inventory. Yes, definitely the marketing behind this is definitely gonna push sales. You know what I'm saying? I'm just about beyond the sales and the marketing, more like the critical, the review, the acclaim. You know what I'm saying? Because Nioh set a bar for. I think Nioh set a bar pretty much for 2017 period on what a great game should be. You know what I'm saying? You know,
it's definitely getting high reviews. I'll say this.
I thought it was high. Yeah, I was thinking this was going to be like an 81, 82 type game. You know, this shit ended up like what 87, 88, and I'm like, oh, and there's not a lot in 90 games this gen period. You know what I'm saying? So 88, 87 is really high for the games that are coming out this gen. You know what I'm saying?
Well, especially for a game that people say that's niche, is jap crap and shit. So I guess it's not really a bad score for something that people think is, they're calling jap crap. So people are saying that it's low production values. I even heard one or two guys saying that it looks like a PS2 game. I'm like, damn, you're either blind or you really need to like clean your lens or some shit, man. This game is next gen, yo.
This game not only is next gen, but it's doing better than most AAAs in the sense of how it was developed. I mean, you got an open world, it runs smooth, it supports HDR on the Pro. Fucking Halo Wars 2 don't even support HDR.
Yeah, that's disappointing.
That shit's gone gold without HDR, like for real, bro. Like, stop.
That's an L, man. That's an L.
No, I'm saying? Go ahead.
Let me say this, Puerto Rock. I think the game. I agree with Wolf. I don't think Horizon should have anything to worry about. Now, Nier Automata, I think that game's coming out like March 7th or 8th. That game may pressure that game, because it's kind of the same genre. But I think Nier do fine. But with it releasing in March, with Mass Effect right around the corner and the Switch, like you guys were saying, coming out, I hope people don't sleep on Nier, because that's actually a pretty cool game too. But Horizon, I think, will do fine. I agree. I think the PlayStation folks are really looking forward to it. They've been banging out the marketing since the Fiesta Bowl, because Sony, hosted the Fiesta Bowl. So that's when the marketing really kicked in. I'm looking forward to it. Day one buy for the kid right here. So, yeah, I'm ready to kick it on that game. Ready to get it going.
No doubt, man. Yeah, so we'll see about that. So, all right. So on to the next one. This is a big one. So we all know Forza Horizon sold 2.5 million. And of course, even when Xbox good news comes out, fucking goddamn fanboys gotta fucking exaggerate. Now they're trying to say it sold 4 million because they're trying to make up some bullshit. All right. Anyway, so Forza Horizon 3 sold 2.5 million, and the big deal about it is apparently it was the highest selling exclusive for Xbox out of all the games that came out in 2016. Meaning, Gears of War 4 did not sell 2.5 million. It probably sold around 2 million. So I say this. Considering, let's say like Gears of War 2, when it came out, it sold 3 million within the first month. Gears of War 3 sold 3 million within the first week. So considering Gears of War 4 came out in October, so it's already been, 4 months? November, December, January, February. Yeah, 4 months. And is at around a little over 2 million, but under 2.5. Did it flop? Being that it's a big AAA franchise for the Xbox fan. What's up, Craig? You go first. Hit me up. What do you think?
Yeah, real quick on this one. Gears did not flop. It did underperform.
Okay.
There's a difference in. Nice. Yeah, no. Well, seriously, it's like you said about Resistance 3. We were, off thing, and that flopped. If it sold what you said, I'm not doubting you. That flopped. But I look at Gears and I think like that movie Batman versus Superman. A movie with Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, you are automatically thinking, if you're Warner Brothers, this movie is going to make $1 billion. But it didn't. So the people are saying, but Gears to me, Batman versus Superman underperformed, and so did Gears. And a lot of their games are not flopping to me. They're just underperforming. They're just but you have a group of people that all they want is the Forza game and Halo. They grew these little kids up based on multiplayer and Call of Duty, and that's all they're going to support. And Gears gets I thought Gears. I played Gears.
Gears was one of those games. Gears was one of the big gunners. Like on 3, like I said, that shit blasted sales on 360. I mean, granted, it's a different era, different audience, But I'm like, yo, I think the first time Forza ended up as the second best-selling game, or the first best-selling game of the year, because usually it comes out coinciding with Halo or Gears. It never comes out on its own. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like I said, I think Gears underperformed. It was disappointing that the Xbox community didn't support it because, like you said, coming off the 360, and we got to remember Judgment. That was like the Titanic hitting an iceberg. So Judgment just wasn't well received. But I won't say it flopped. I'll say it underperformed.
All right, fair enough. All right, so Iron Wolf.
Okay, a lot of people knew when I was at the Xbox, when I was, when that was my preferred console, that was the only game. That was the only game that I cared about. When it comes out, can you hear me, by the way?
Yeah, I can hear you.
No, I was saying when it comes down to the Xbox brand, that to me personally, I think Gears of War is the best. Is the best IP that I find that shit better than Halo. I find it better than Fable or anything else that they have. That was my go-to game when I was on the Xbox. I played that game day and night, twice on Sunday.
Yeah, you were the Unreal Gamer.
You already know, man. But here's the thing, man. Like as far as like Craig saying they underperformed, I think it was underwhelming and it underperformed at the same time because there was a lot of things in that game. It rubbed a lot of even the OGs like me who've been playing it for years, right? Since the first one. When I played it, it looked okay. They did some cool things with the physics and everything, with the wind blowing and all that stuff. A few effects that they had. They did some cool things with that game. Yeah. But other than that, it was pretty much more of the same. Okay. It only had 2-player co-op. Gears of War 3 has 4-player co-op. So they downgraded in this game. Yeah, man. It was only 2-player co-op. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And then that season pass that they were selling, that season pass was the biggest ripoff, and it was the biggest scam in gaming, period. Because all they gave you with that season pass was 4 days early access and a couple of skins, a couple of character skins and weapon skins. That's all you got from the whole deal. And it was $100. Now you have Uncharted, right? Uncharted 4, with that season pass, they're going to give you a campaign that's 10 hours long. You know what I'm saying? See, that is the difference between the Uncharted 4 season pass and the Gears of War 4 season pass. Now, the Gears of War 3 or the Gears of War 2 season pass, they gave you extra content, campaign-based content, extra characters, extra maps. They gave you everything. So I just don't know what the whole deal was with the whole season pass thing with Gears of War 4, man. It was a ripoff, man. And all these microtransactions on top of that, man, people are getting really, aggravated and pissed off with it, man. And I was one of those guys. And based off of all that, man, like, definitely not the best Gears game. Definitely not. But, the way I look at it, man, you played as a character you don't care about. You played as an irrelevant character. And the whole story was you go out and you look for the characters that you do care about. That was the story.
That's true. Facts. Facts.
And there's nothing much more I want to say about that game, but that game really rubbed me the wrong way, man. And I hope that they could make it up for that though, man, somehow. If the Coalition, they work on Gears 5, I feel like they didn't really take enough risks. There was no risks that they took with this game.
Hey,
and the campaign was 30 frames per second, man. On top of that, there you have it, man. It was bullshit, man. It was BS.
Hey, quick question. So the Coalition, how many people did they grab from Epic? Because originally, the first 3 were Epic games. Did they have the right developers to keep pushing? Like, how did that work out? How did that studio?
To be honest with you, people are trying to say half of Epic were in that team. No. That's a load of lies. Because look, I know quite a few guys at the Coalition, and some of the people still following me from the Coalition. And I know for a fact that there was only like 3-4 people from Epic that moved to the Coalition. Rod being one of them. And then you had a few other guys that just jumped in after. But majority of them were Black Tusk Studios when they were called Black Tusk Studios. They were working on a new IP called Shanghai that me and you were talking about. And they dropped that for Gears. Now, my theory behind this whole Shanghai thing is that the reason why Gears of War 4 was made so fast, because remember, they acquired the IP back in 2014. And by the end of 2016, the game has been made. So you're going to think to yourself, what the hell, man? How did they make the game that fast? But my theory behind this whole thing is that they used the assets of Shanghai and they made Gears out of it. So that's what they did.
Okay.
So you see those machines and robots in Gears? I believe those were the enemies, or those were some of the assets of Shanghai, and they end up calling it the DBs. And yeah, they just put it as enemies in Gears of War 4, man.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Because like, look, Gears of War with robots just doesn't make it just makes no freaking sense, man.
I didn't even know it had robots because I didn't play the game, but when I
my bad. I didn't mean to spoil it for you, man. I didn't mean to spoil it, man.
No, don't worry about that. Believe me, spoiling Xbox games ain't much on my radar.
Shots fired.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? There's only certain games that you know what I'm saying, that's on my radar for like non-spoilers and shit like that. But you know what I'm saying? But wow, that's crazy. That's some good insight right there. I had no idea. Yeah. All right. So damn. Man, that's some shit. Okay, but anyway, so we're going on to the last topic, all right? So if we do the math, if Forza Horizon 3 was the highest selling Xbox exclusive 2016 at 2.5 million, and then let's say we peg Gears at 2. Let's put a little bit of baby powder on Quantum Break's chapped ass, and we'll say 1 million, just to be nice. And we'll put some more baby powder on Recore. Let's say 500,000. Some people are saying only 100,000, but let's be nice and say 500,000. And we already know Capcom released
Dead Rising.
It was 700,000. So Uncharted 4 by itself outsold all those games combined in 2016.
Oh my God, man.
When you do the math, 8.7 million. When you add all those up, they do not equal 8.7 million. That shit is bananas. What do y'all think about that? Wolf, what do you think about that?
Well, all I could say, Uncharted is that billion-dollar franchise for Sony, man. And if that is the last one, then boy, they went out with a bang. That's what I'm going to say. And, look at The Last of Us sales. Us 2 will be the best-selling exclusive this gen. But, we could talk about that when the time comes. But for now, man, Uncharted 4, it was a technical masterpiece, when you look at the graphics and everything. Hey, it was semi-open world. There was more, you can explore in that game compared to Quantum Break, and it still destroyed it graphically. You know what I'm saying? I played it. I haven't beat it yet, but I'm on chapter 15, and I've enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying? It's an awesome game. It had a great multiplayer as well to it. I still think Uncharted 2 multiplayer was the best, but it was a step in the right direction compared to Uncharted 3.
Yeah.
But definitely, man, it deserved the sales that he has. And the word went out, man. The word of mouth was strong. And, you could give Sony credit for their marketing, man. They've been marketing this game. I remember, right, I saw ads on YouTube on November and a December. I know this game dropped in, was it April or May of last year?
May.
It dropped in May.
Yeah, it dropped in May last year, right? A month after Quantum Break. May. Okay. I saw ads for that in November and December.
Yes.
So, Sony are really pushing this game out, and at the end of the day, when you have good marketing and, if you make a good game, word of mouth is strong, then I guess you're going to get great sales, man.
Not only that, Uncharted is a true game that sells systems. That's why it's just going on for so long, and the bundle been fine out. You know what I'm saying? It's a true system seller. This game, when they made that bundle in October or November for MPD, nobody expected the Slim was just gonna fucking kill Xbox One S and just take it out. That putting Nathan Drake on the box, everybody was going for that shit. That shit was bananas. So, Craig, what you think about that? The fact that UC4 outsold every Xbox exclusive in 2016 combined. That one game.
Yeah, that's something else because I'm really at taken back 8.7 million. That's give Naughty Dog hats off to them, like Iron Wolf said. If that's Drake's last thing, I know they're doing a. I don't know if that's going to be is that like a DLC that's coming out?
It's a standalone, man. It'll be available. It'll be available in retail as well. By the way, you can buy a physical copy.
It's a standalone title, but if you bought a certain version of the UC4, you get it for free.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well, like I said, I mean, that's amazing. That is amazing. That's a juggernaut franchise. That is like you said, a system seller. That really did help push that Slim, because I was always wondering who was going to buy the Slim, because they really, they didn't put a whole lot. They made it smaller, of course, but yeah, them putting that Drake on the cover of it, I think a lot of people, and had a good price on him too.
250. One place is only
8.7 million. That's I don't know what that translates into dollars, but that's a lot of coin. That's a lot of chicken wings for a brother man right there. So. But congratulations to Naughty Dog. They really, and I agree. I do believe down the road that oh my goodness, The Last of Us 2, which I think The Last of Us, don't choke me for this, is a better game than Uncharted. And that's just for me. That's just
I agree.
I ain't arguing with you, man.
I think everybody agrees that, and that, you know what, is a good point that you brought up, because Naughty Dog, they created a new IP, right? The Last of Us, and it's better than their last IP.
Yeah,
that shit. Usually, you don't see that happen. Usually, when they make a second IP, a lot of studios that make another IP, it's not as good as what they put a map on them. A studio, when they form up or whatever, they create an IP, and that IP makes them famous. Mm-hmm. And then when they make a new IP, it just doesn't hit the same magic.
I could tell you one thing. Can y'all hear me right now?
Yeah.
Now we're gonna talk about Bungie for a second, right? Now everybody know them for Halo. That was, that's what made them big, right?
Yeah.
But this is the reason why I'm making this point, right? Is because you're saying right now that sometimes these developers, they make an IP, but when they make a second IP, it bombs. Yeah. But in Bungie's case,
sometimes it doesn't hit the same spark.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. But they made Destiny after Halo, and my God, man, that shit, bro, it blew the roof off everywhere. You know what I'm saying? That shit was huge.
True. In fact, I always said that's one of the. I think. Let's be honest. What really saved. Xbox has a lot of things, but one of the major driving forces behind Xbox was the Halo franchise. It was Bungie. Why was the Bungie box? It put Xbox on the map.
That was their prize studio, man. And let me tell you one
that
thing.
Was their Naughty Dog. Yeah. Bungie was Naughty Dog by far. Not Rare or anybody. It was Bungie. That was their Naughty Dog.
Definitely.
So when they let them go, because they wouldn't give them what they wanted to do, they wouldn't allow them to do what they wanted. Imagine if Destiny would have been exclusive to Xbox One.
That was a system seller, man. That
was their multiplayer phenom, and they let it go because they didn't want to treat Bungie like their Naughty Dog. Sony, they leave Naughty Dog alone. You do what the fuck you want. You earn that shit. It's your shit. They do what you want. I think I think right now at this point,
this is the difference between Microsoft and Sony. To be honest, man, like with Sony, most of these developers, they've known each other for years, right? So they could coordinate. They can make a great game. Now with Microsoft, they just bring all these other guys in. I remember they brought some guys in from Kojima Studios, like from Kojima Productions, into 343. And, Halo 4 still bombed. You know what I'm saying? It was still a horrible game. But this is the thing. Somebody like Bungie, right, telling you, right, the parent company, that, hey, I think we need to part ways. When you have your own first-party studio telling you that shit, man, it don't look good. That is embarrassing, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Don't you think? Let that sink in for just a second. That's like one of your best workers out there that makes anything that they craft is a masterpiece. And because you don't let him make what he wants now, he says to you, hey, I think I gotta go. It's gonna make you feel like shit, wouldn't it?
Yo, yeah. Go ahead, Craig.
I was just going to say, I think Microsoft at the beginning with that OG Xbox, remember they not only had the Bungie, but they had BioWare. BioWare made, Jade Empire. They made Knights of the Old Republic, which brought in the Star Wars people. Jade Empire brought in some JRPG people. And then you had, you had the Halo come out. And, of course, BioWare comes back and makes Mass Effect. So, to me, it was all there for them. And like they said, they fell for whatever reason. They let those guys get away. So as a consumer, I'm glad. but it was unfortunate, for Microsoft in the long run. So
it's just embarrassing when your top studio says that, hey, we want to buy back our company so we can part ways, man. That's embarrassing, man.
And what's crazy is that's what's crazy. Microsoft let them. They didn't be like, whoa, hold on. What do you want done? Do you want us to whatever you want? You know what I'm saying? They didn't even try to cater to them. They said, fine, fuck it. Yeah.
Well, remember with Bungie now, the story with Bungie is that they were going to they had just met with Steve Jobs, God rest his soul. And this is when Steve was still trying to put games on the Macs. So Halo was going to go to the Mac. But when Bill Gates found out, he actually physically drove over to Bungie and he bought the studio.
Yeah. Yeah.
He said, I'm making a system and I want it to be on my system. Also, the Halo that everybody fell in love with, 1, 2, 3, and the rest of them, that's an actual physical hack. A couple of kids hacked that game in the department, and Bill Gates said, well, I want this version to be on my, on the Xbox, because the original Halo is what you're playing with Halo Wars 1 and 2. That's what it was going to be, a real-time strategy game. So yeah, but I didn't know they went over there and said, hey, look, we gonna get out of this contract, son. So,
hey, I want to throw up a last minute top before we go. So this is the hot burner. So Microsoft announced their official date for the E3 keynote, June 11th, 2 p.m. Pacific time. So that's on a Sunday, and they have like the background image of Scorpio. So chances are there won't be a separate Scorpio event. We're going to talk hardware at E3. So how you guys feel about that?
Okay, so is this before Sony's E3 or is it after?
No, it's always before. So a lot of people don't know this.
And they're doing it on a Sunday too, right? Not even on a Monday.
Yeah, it's on a Sunday. So a lot of people don't know this about E3. So the way E3 set up.
Oh, you just cut off there.
Yeah.
It always goes last. So Microsoft goes first because they're the most remaining manufacturers. So Microsoft always go first, then Sony, then Nintendo. Nintendo always go last. So let's say like if Sega was around, right? Let's say Sega was still making consoles, it would be Microsoft, Sony, Sega, Nintendo. Does that make sense? Hello, everybody heard me?
Yeah, I hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. So that's how it goes for E3. So it goes by whoever's the junior, they go first. So that's why Microsoft, because when people be like, damn, Sony keeps doing things, after Microsoft needs to stop going before Sony. They don't have a choice. They have to go first because they're the rookie. So Microsoft, yeah, that's just how E3 is set up. So let's say if Apple, let's say decides to make a console and they want to do E3, then Apple will go first, then Microsoft, then Sony, then Nintendo. Nintendo's always going to go last because they're the oldest out of everybody. So that's just how E3 set up. So yeah, but they're doing it Sunday. So what y'all think that they're including hardware in the E3 Vice, making a separate specific briefing for that?
I think they, could I just go first on this thing, man?
Yeah, go ahead. Let her. Go ahead. Let it
off. Bro, I think they completely messed up with that whole thing, man. Like they should have had a separate keynote for the Xbox Scorpio, man. Show the console, like like have the unveiling like they did in 2013, but don't show TV. See, that's what I was expecting. I thought maybe during, April or May, they're going to have this separate keynote for the Scorpio. They're going to show it to the public, show what it looks like, maybe announce a game or two, show a few third-party games, see, show people how it looks on the Scorpio. But nah, man, instead of doing that, they're going to take up all that E3 time on their stage, showing their console, showing hardware. They're going to probably talk about it can do 20 billion transistors and they're going to be talking about all this nonsense, And I just think personally, man, it's a waste of time. And how long they're going to have when it comes down to showing games?
Yeah, that's
exactly. And to me, personally, Sony are going to have the upper hand here because all they're going to have to do is show bangers because that's all they're going to do, right? They're going to show bangers upon bangers. And then they probably end it with The Last of Us and people are going to go crazy and they're going to say, hey, Sony won yet again. Because what Microsoft going to possibly show at E3? Because if they're going to dedicate 30 to 45 minutes on hardware, that's only going to leave them with 45 minutes left. You see what I'm saying now?
Yeah. So quick,
I'm just a little bit concerned. If they have a 2-hour show, then I guess okay, I guess they can put 45 minutes into the hardware, and then the hour 45 into content. But I don't think they're gonna do that.
All right.
You got to remember one thing about Microsoft, right? They only do one event. They only do E3.
That's true.
Sony do E3. They do Paris Games Week. They do Tokyo Game Show, and they do their own PSX. See, Microsoft had a great opportunity, and I think it was a missed opportunity because it was the 15th year anniversary since the OG Xbox, since they entered the industry back in 2001. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think they completely messed up, man. They completely messed up. They didn't have their own event, and now they're gonna show everything at E3, all their hardware, everything. I don't think it's looking good for them, man, because all I can see them announce at E3 was a 7. That comes with the territory, right? That's an annual franchise.
Yeah, Forza Horizon 4 is coming out next year, and Forza, we already know.
Yeah, and then you're gonna get Forza 20 and 21.
I
You know how it goes.
Laughing. Watch, Forza Horizon 4 is gonna come out next year. That's already a given. It's done. That cycle's done. It's a Call of Duty cycle. It's already happening.
It is. It's like a Madden Call of Duty cycle, man. You're absolutely right. But here's the thing, though, man. Like, you're gonna get Forza game. We already know that. They're probably gonna announce, or they'll probably give a teaser for Halo 6. Yeah, we know that. Sea of Thieves. I think they're gonna show more Sea of Thieves. Crackdown. We haven't even seen no gameplay of Crackdown, so they have to show gameplay of Crackdown at E3. They have to.
They don't have a release date. I'm sorry, they don't have a release date for Sea of Thieves yet.
No release date. There is no release date for Sea of Thieves, and I think that's a holiday game.
We'll probably find out.
That was meant to be a holiday 2016 game, by the way, and they delayed it.
Yeah, like that game's not gonna do good if it's a holiday.
And State of Decay, that's another one we already know about. So how can they possibly surprise, let's just say, everybody on this panel? How could it surprise you, Paul Rock? You tell me.
I'm gonna tell you this. I was hoping that they would do a separate event so that way E3 could focus on games. But the fact they're gonna put the hardware at E3, it's gonna be a filler for E3. It's gonna be a filler talk because they're gonna talk about the power. They're gonna talk about the architecture. They're gonna talk about what it does to all these games. Which means the more they talk about the hardware in Scorpio, the less they need to talk about games. You understand what I'm saying? They don't have enough games to fill up an hour and a half of E3. They don't. So they're putting Scorpio in the stage, and this is the biggest thing that's really gonna suck. That's really might suck for E3 for Microsoft is if E3 this year is nothing more than Scorpio and showing the same games we already saw last year at E3, meaning State of Decay in 4K or Crackdown in 4K or Sea of Thieves in 4K. Like, what the fuck? All you're doing is
look who we got here, man. We got Cervantes, man.
Yo, can you guys
what's going on? Yeah, go ahead. Say a couple of things. Yo, we're going to ask you, what you feel. All right, this is the last topic. Microsoft announced their E3 press conference date, and in the image, they showed the Scorpio, the motherboard or whatever. So chances are they're going to reveal Scorpio at E3 by making its own separate event. How do you feel about that?
Yo, my bad. Are you talking to me? I'm still setting my stuff up.
Yeah, I'm talking to you.
Oh, okay, my bad. I was hearing an echo and I had to. So, what was the question? My bad, man. A little blueberry. What was the question?
Here we go, man. My man's sipping on that Bacardi rum right now and shit like that. Don't lie. I know how you Puerto Ricans do and shit. No, so Microsoft announced their E3 press briefing, which is going to be on a Sunday, June 11th.
Yeah.
Right, and then the image they showed, the Scorpio CPU, that little image they always showed from day one. How do you feel that Scorpio is going to be announced at E3 vice its own separate briefing or showing? What do you feel about that? That they're going to use E3 time to unveil it?
It's a bad sign, and I was actually on the process of doing a video about this topic, but it's a bad sign right off the bat. I mean, if we take a look back at last year, Sony had an amazing E3 press conference, and they showed nothing but games, nothing but lots of exclusives and all that. And then they had their own exclusive, like, separate event unveil the PS4 Pro. So it's not a good sign, and I think it's a pretty good hint that just Microsoft doesn't have enough content for this year's E3, and they're trying to like bundle it up so they can cover off some of the time for their conference to kind of just mask the fact that they just don't have that many games.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, they're just trying to
they're
trying to sugarcoat it with hardware. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, everybody on this panel, we're not idiots. We see through the BS, and that's just exactly what it is. They lack content.
Well, let me tell you why they're going on Sunday. It makes sense to me because it's a new product. This is a company making a new product. What opens Monday? This a big deal. What opens on Monday? Hundreds of millions of dollars run through it. Wall Street. So Microsoft shows their product on Sunday to see what the stocks are going to do on Monday. Because if you're a shareholder or if you have stock in their company, I have stock in their company. I need to know exactly what they're bringing because I need to know if I'm going to buy more shares of their stock. Because if the thing tanks, and like you all were saying, it very well could tank. If the market opens up and their stock falls, then that's run for the mountains right there. That's run for the hills.
Well, I don't think so much on a specific day. I'm talking about the event itself because you only get so much time at E3. Usually it's about an hour and a half.
Right.
90 minutes,
So whatever you gotta say it within that hour and a half window. So like if they would have introduced like the Xbox Scorpio on let's say like May, it could be done on a Sunday, just like the same thing you were talking about. Do it on a Sunday in May, so that way you do like a 1 hour, kind of like what Sony did with the PS4 Pro. They didn't do it at E3. They had their own specific event for that console. So you show the console in May or whatever. You show specifically the Scorpio. You talk about the specs. You talk everything. The controller that comes in with it. You show a couple of games that's already been seen, like Crackdown and shit like that. Or, games that already been seen, like Gears of War in 4K. Forza, right? Like, for instance, if they show Gears of War in 4K at E3, oh, fuck you, bro. You bugging. If you're going to show a game from last year.
Well, yeah, but that's my...
No, man, they're going to show... They're going to show Sea of Thieves. They're going to show Sea of Thieves in 4K, man.
I'm a clown them motherfuckers. If they show like Gears of War and old shit in 4K, I'm gonna clown their asses. But on the real though, show the box like in a separate event before E3, so that way E3 you focus on a shitload of games. But I don't think they have an hour and a half's worth of content.
Well, yeah, that's the point. Is that if they, I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
No problem.
You guys are right. If they're going to be showing and concentrating on hardware, that's scary. That's kind of a flag right there. But I think one reason they may be doing it is because that stock market opens on Monday and they're making a new product. So they're wanting honestly wanting their stocks to jump. It is what it is. It's a money game for Microsoft. So any company that makes a new product, your stock goes up. That's why Apple makes iPhones. That's why they're doing it. They don't, they can make almost. They're a computer company too, but every time Apple releases a new iPhone, people get in line for it, whether it's iPhone 50, their stock is going to go up the next day as soon as that product hits. That's what Microsoft is doing. But as far as the software, I agree with you guys. It's kind of it's a yellow flag. It's like, why are you guys doing this? And what are you going to show? So we already know they're going to show Forza. That'll be a 4K 60 game. I think everybody can expect that. But yeah, that's definitely a disappointing. It's Microsoft being Microsoft.
I have something to say. Can we all agree that this is actually a good strategy for them? I find it amusing that they're trying to like sidestep the big boy in the room. I think that they're pulling like a Nintendo. They're trying to have their conference like during a different day to just kind of avoid the big competition. And I actually think it's a great strategy, man. Because when they have their conferences on the same day as Sony, like it all gets eclipsed by Sony's conference. It is what it is, and I think it's actually a good thing for them. But it's not looking too good, man. You got Yoshida teasing games, but then these Xbox executives, what they're teasing is Scorpio this, Scorpio that. But what about the games?
No, this is what the Savant is, man. They're just teasing. All they're doing is talking about controllers, man, all the time. talking about backwards compatible games. Hey guys, today we're gonna announce Rage as backwards compatible or Hitman. You know, like what the hell, man?
Cancel your Horizon pre-order, bro. You gotta go play that GTA 4, man. Came out years ago, but we gotta go ahead and do that. You know, cancel pre-orders.
Forget that greatness, man. Sell that. Go get an Xbox, man. So you can play Fallout Shelter, man, the cell phone game.
Yo, that's for real. I'm gonna be real. You know, shit is not good. 2 new gaming topics of 2017 for Xbox is literally Fallout Shelter and Grand Theft Auto 4. That shit is, I'm not even trying to fanboy. I'm like, yo, really, when you think of gaming on Xbox in 2017 that's like exclusive to the console, you're thinking of fucking Grand Theft Auto 4 and Fallout Shelter. I'm like, yo, that shit is bananas, bro. Yo, I would be mad.
Yo, Porter Rock. Let me ask you a question, though.
If I was an Xbox dude, I would go to fucking Microsoft headquarters and smash that console over Phil Spencer's head, bro. I would be like, yo, you giving me Fallout Shelter. You know what I'm saying? And you know, people clowning Yakuza and Gravity Rush, and y'all motherfuckers playing Fallout Shelter? Yo,
Fallout Shelter.
Yo, that shit is bananas, bro. That shit is crazy. I didn't even like that. I didn't even like that game on my phone. And it was free and shit. I'm like, yo, that shit's bananas. What you gonna say, man? Go ahead, Iron Wolf.
No, I actually forgot what I was about to say because you just had me dying there for a second.
Yo, man. That shit blew my mind, yo. Grand Theft Auto 4 and Fallout Shelter is the hotness right now. I'm like, yo, this shit is bugging me.
No, you know, how low can you go though, Porter Rock? How low can you go to go out your way to try to add Fallout Shelter on your list of exclusives? Like you'll go far by even trying to put We Happy Few on that list. And it's a pound exclusive.
Yo,
it's crazy. These guys, man, they take shit too far, man.
No, this shit.
Let's just say a game like Cuphead, right? Let's just say, like, look, Cuphead's an okay looking game. It looks like it's gonna be great. But look, the PlayStation Nation, if we had this game, it's the sort of game that we're gonna put on the side. We're not gonna tout this game like it's anything special. But the thing is, they're so dry, so they're gonna try to tout this game like it's the next big shit. You know what I'm saying? That's what they're gonna do. They're gonna make it out as though this is greatness when it's not. It's just an okay game.
Yeah.
That ain't no greatness right there, man. It's just another indie to me.
Yeah.
I agree with the strategy, though, because, I mean, what's going to happen Monday, I guarantee you guys, all the stock markets, all those little stock market shows with that guy that screams all the time, they're going to be talking about the Scorpio. But you all said it had a moniker, but like I said, my Xbox One S, that thing's dry. I mean, the fire department came and took it out of my place because they said it's a fire hazard. It's dry. I mean, it's just nothing on it for me to really play on at this point. I don't want to play Halo Wars 2, and I don't want to be a black pirate on the good ship Lollipop on Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, you don't want to make motherfuckers walk the plank and shit.
Yeah, not today.
I still can't figure that game out, bro. I mean, I'm gonna leave that shit alone.
Hey, but you can play Sea of Thieves in 4K, man, on that Scorpio, man. With the flat textures and everything, man.
All right. So with that said, we're gonna finish off this podcast with everyone knowing that you Uncharted 4 is king. That motherfucker outsold all 2016 Xbox One's AAA exclusives. So we'll just leave it at that. So I'm gonna do some party shout outs. Yo, Craig, man. Any final words?
Oh, no. I mean, I appreciate you having me on here today, Porter Rock. I enjoy your content. Been a fan for a while. And you, Iron Wolf, appreciate you being a consumer first and not a fanboy second. And Cervantes, I've heard you in and out of different podcasts, and I appreciate what you bring to the table. And just keep it gaming, guys, and stay away from the, bullshit. So that's about all I got.
Yeah, all right. And the Puerto Rican came up to my podcast drunk as shit. Cervantes, what's going on, bro? Motherfucker. Drinking Palo Viejo and shit. What's going on? Hello? He's still drunk and shit. This guy passed out.
Bro, my bad. I was having some technical issues, man.
My man passed out. He like,
Yo,
go ahead, man.
it looks like I joined this thing too late, man. But anyways, the short time that I was able to be here, it's been nice, being here, just kind of, talking with you guys. And yeah, I'm signing out, man. Thanks for everything. That's it.
And then my final guest, of course, he brought, as usual, the motherfucking facts. My man, Iron Wolf. Go ahead, man. Let him know.
Yo, man, I do appreciate you having me on the 60 Frames No Lag podcast. So, yo, thanks for the invite. And hey, anytime you want me there, man, just I'm gonna be there, man. I'm gonna be there bringing you the motherfucking facts. And yes, you could find me on Twitter at Supersonic Wolf. Now, Wolf is with a 0, not with an O. You could subscribe to me if you want. You could like or you could dislike my videos. It's all good. You don't have to subscribe to me. You could unsubscribe to me. It's all good. But yeah, you could find me on YouTube. It's Supersonic Wolf 4K. And do subscribe to every one of these gentlemen here. And I'd like to thank you once again, Paul Rock. And yeah, hopefully you could come on the Greatness Podcast. Unfortunately, we were unable to do it because of Valentine's Day. But hopefully next week, we'll be back, man. We'll be live and kicking, man.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate everyone for taking the time to showing up. Again, great conversations, great topics. Man, you guys really brought your A game up in here, and I appreciate it. Except for Savante, his drunk ass.
Yeah,
man. You know what? I'm gonna invite you earlier next week, man. I gotta get you on this podcast and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not always available, but every once in a while you can just let me know.
I'll try to give you a heads up and shit. But anyway, for everybody else, yeah, you know that sound. You know what I'm saying? 60 frames, no lag. Thank you very much for showing up. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern. You don't know who you're going to get, but I guarantee. Nah, I'm going to leave that alone. I'm not going to finish off on the fanboy side. I just want to appreciate everybody. If you're a PC gamer, Nintendo weirdo, Xbox, PlayStation, whatever, man, just enjoy what you got to do. Show up every Wednesday. We have great conversations, and I appreciate the panel members. My original panel members will be here next week, and we're going to do what we do. You know what I'm saying? 60 frames, no lag.
Bang, bang.
Peace.
Bang, bang.